Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer. I would love for you to join the small but growing family by clicking that red subscribe button on the bottom, and also do not forget to smash that like button as it helps for YouTube to push my videos for more people to see. So I just wanted to take this few seconds to thank each and everyone who has just joined our family. I can see that there are a lot of new people in this community now, and so I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. I do hope that you continue to enjoy our content. So without rambling on today's video, we're going to be looking at my June money. What is it? We're going to be doing my June money chat, and I've done one for May. I think I did one for April as well. That was my first one, and I find that you guys are enjoying them. I'm also enjoying filming them because they're just informative and they're also just, you know, interesting to watch. Months are not the same. We experience different challenges as we go through the months, and so I like to reflect back before I start planning for the following month. Reflect back, how do I feel about this month? What happened this month? And how did I manage my money this month? And what can I do better going forward? And so today we're going to be looking at this month, which is June, and we're going to be basically evaluating how do I feel about the month of June. So I've got my book here, which you guys should be familiar with now. This is the book that I actually planned my content on, and so I've already written down points that I want to touch on. So I'm going to touch on those points as I go through this video, just to make sure that I don't ramble on and on. So for my budget for June, how did I go about that? So my budget for June was slightly similar to my May-June, because in May there was more money that came in my pocket, and so June I just had my salary and that is all. However, when it comes to my budget, I feel like my budget was good. I feel like it was straight to the, I feel like it tackled everything that it needed to tackle. First thing that I always prioritize when it comes to making my budget is the savings. That's why when I do my savings, I put them at the beginning. Those are the things that I focus on first. How much do I want to save that month? And I like that already I've created systems for myself for my savings. So I have stokvels that I know that, okay, even if, let's say for instance, this month I don't feel like saving 2,000, but because I'm part of Lomholiswane, I do not have a choice but to make sure that I actually pay that 2,000 to whomever that money is going to in that month. And then when it comes to my expenses were very minimal. They're always the same, actually. My expenses are always the same, and so I was able to also, you know, tackle those. And there's nothing I have defaulted on so far. Like, there's nothing that I haven't paid for so far. As I mentioned on my payday routine, is that I make sure that I pay for everything the moment my money hits my account. So if it hits my account around 12, on the following day, I'm actually going to make sure that I pay for everything. The things that take during the month, I take the money out of my transactional account into my savings account within Capitec, and some of the money I move to FNB where there are some of those debit orders. And then I know that as the time comes for those debit orders, I just transfer the money to those to the transactional account. And so I also wanted to touch on this point. Someone asked me, I have like 2 accounts which I'm paying for transactional fees. Yes, I have that, and I actually don't mind it. I don't mind it at all, because for me, both accounts serve a specific reason. So my Capitec is my main account. That's where my salary comes in. And then what I do is I will pay for things from there. And then there is FNB, which is my secondary bank account. And I'm still going to change accounts for FNB to be my main account. I'm still just thinking thoroughly about that, because that for me is a very big decision. But when I opened FNB a while ago, it wasn't because I really wanted to use it as a secondary account. I wanted to open I wanted to do PayPal, and at that time you can only use FNB. And so I've been using FNB such that now I have a business account on FNB, I have a credit card on FNB, and so I use FNB. However, let me tell you also another reason why I have these 2 accounts, and I'm highly using both of them. Okay, so since Capitec is my main account, now I'm not saying that this is good practice, people. However, since Capitec is my main account, that means that if I decide to buy another property, or I decide to buy a car, I'm going to provide a bank statement from Capitec, which doesn't have as much debit orders. Now, my debit orders are not crazy, but they are standard debit orders like Netflix, Canva, thematic music, rain, which is my fiber, my Wi-Fi. There's also what else is there? There's just a lot of debit orders though. There's also TubeBuddy, a lot of things, that also Apple Music. All of those small nitty things, I make sure that they are not in my main account when it comes to deductions. That is because if I want to apply for something, I want to present my clean bank statement. I hope you guys understand me. I want to go to the bank, and when I say provide a bank statement, I have my main bank statement and it doesn't have a lot of debit orders, because I feel like when your account has a lot of debit orders, it also just says something about you. And so I like that my Capitec doesn't have a lot of debit orders. It has my main debit orders, and most of them are savings type of debit orders. And so that is why that's why I have 2 accounts that I'm paying for transactional fees on both, and I do not mind doing that. With FNB, it's debit orders, and then I don't withdraw money on it because I don't put more than what needs to be deducted. I also don't use that account in, let's say, for instance, in shops for shopping. I don't transfer money for doing groceries on it. And so I don't incur charges like withdrawals, swapping the card and all the stuff. The only charges that I will incur is just for the debit orders. And so what I like about FNB is that the charges are grouped for a monthly. So if you go over and above that, then they will charge you more. But then I'm always within. And then Capitec is just another story. I don't understand their fees. But as I said, I don't mind paying for both, because for me, there's a purpose. There's a reason why. And I feel like sometimes it works for me. Well, my credit score is good, but I feel like it also just does work for me, because when I'm applying for things, I don't have a lot of things to write down there. Because my thing has to speak to when I'm writing down my expenses, it has to speak to my bank statement. And so I don't have to write all of these nitty-gritty things when I'm applying for a bond, when the time comes for me to apply for a car, because there's not a lot of debit orders from my main account. I hope you guys understand that. So that is why I have 2 accounts, which I use highly. And then actually I have more than 2 accounts. I have 3 savings account, which is Time Bank, Capitec, and FNB, and I use all of them. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't really care about the bank charges much, because for me, I want my money to work for me. I want it to be functional. I want my bank accounts to be functional at all times. The second point that I wanted to touch on is, were there any out of budget items in my June budget? Yes, there were out of budget types of item, and those are things that I don't normally have there. Now, I don't mind having those things in there, because I know that in the next month they're not going to be there, and that's money that's going to be coming back to me, or that I can channel to something else. And so yes, I did have out of budget item. I think it was just one this month, which was not part of my initial budget, but I had to add later on, and it didn't really take me out of my budget, because my budget I was not on a negative when I concluded my budget. And then there are other things that I also don't normally pay for, but they were there this month, and I don't mind those things, because next month that money is going to be coming back to me. Okay, 3 savings rates for June. My saving rates for June is very similar to last month. I was able to save similar to what I saved last month. Basically, nothing changed. What changed? Nothing changed. Same amounts, same everything. So I'm good with that. And then the last point that I want to touch on before we close this video is, how am I feeling about my finances in June? So we are still very much in June. As I'm filming this video, we're on the 25th of June, and I feel good. I feel really, really good. And that is because I've stuck to my budget. Everything that I wanted to do and more, which I added, which is the item that was not part of my budget, I was able to do, and I was still within my budget. Like, I was not on a negative balance, and so I feel good about that. And also I was able to put a chunk of money into my credit card, and it brought down, like, actually I don't think I owe that much. Maybe I think I owe around 1,500 on my credit card, and so I feel good about that. I also feel good about the month in general, because right now, as I said, I was not on a negative in my budget. I was able to pay for everything, things that have to be paid for still, like my MTN contract, which is for my data, that I pay for end of the month, but the money is there waiting. and also for other things as well, the money is still there. And then for my weekly allocation, the money is still there. And so I feel good. I feel good with the way that I've been managing my finances. I think this is going to be one of the good months when it comes to my spending and also just understanding my finances. And I must say, it is also partly due to my weekly allocation, and I think I want to do a separate video talking about my weekly allocation and how it has changed the way that I manage my finances. And I want to do a specific video on it because I feel like if you're really not doing it, really look into it, because it will change the way you manage your money, you know, and the way you feel about your money, you know. And so that is how I feel about June. June has been great so far, and I think it's going to be great until I start July. And July is also going to be great because when I look at it and when I'm projecting and looking at up until, because when I plan up until my next payday, I think we'll still be good. I think we'll still be very much good. And that is because a lot of things have changed. Some of the things have changed in the way that I manage my money. I hope that you guys found value in this video and that you found it interesting. And yeah, I like doing these videos because they kind of they allow me to reflect thoroughly on the month when it comes to my finances. How did I really feel about my finances? Oh, another thing that I just wanted to mention, which I have been just brushing through. What I'm loving about my budget also now is that I don't have a lot of debts that I'm paying for. Now, when I look at my debts now, I'm just like, wow, Jennifer, you have really, really come a long way. In the next few months, probably in the next 2 or 3 months, I literally have no debt in my budget. Yes, I'll still have a debt. However, when it comes to my budget now, the debts that I have to pay for from my bank account, I'm not going to have any in the next few months. And that for me brings me so much joy and so much happiness, because I now see what I was working towards. I now see all those decisions that I made to tackle my debts. I now see it, you know. And so I'm really grateful for that. And so I'm also happy that in this month of June, I really didn't have, well, I did pay a large sum, but it was out of my budget when I paid it into my credit card. And maybe I will talk about that in my July reset, how I did that or where I got the money. But I think you guys kind of get an idea because I did talk about this, but maybe I will talk about it in the July reset video. And so with that being said, I'm just going to close off this video right now and say thank you so much for actually tuning in and watching this video. I really appreciate each and every one of you, everyone who's subscribed and everyone who's liking these videos. Please do not forget to smash the like button every time you watch my videos or every time you watch anyone's videos that you like, because it does really help to support them, you know. So please take care and stay safe and always stay on top of your finances, because if you do that, you're not going to have any stress, darling. The last thing we want is financial stress. So please take care of yourself until I see you on the next one. Bye.